Today, we hear from the book of Ezra. What's going on at that point in time? Well, you remember Ezra was a priest at the time of the Babylonian exile. And Cyrus, king of Persia, had just ordered a royal decree that all those that were from the Holy Land, we know the Holy Land, from Israel, were called back. They could go back to their homeland and build their temple. And not only just build it, but be given the resources. We just heard that the other day. Gold, silver, cattle, grain, everything they needed for this transfer from where they were in exile to go back home. To go back home and to build their temple to their God. This pagan God commands it. He says there's no rhyme or reason why he would do that, but had to been something that maybe he saw within the people. But here's Ezra now, humbling himself, not only him, but the entire nation before the Lord. It's kind of like what we did at the very beginning of this Mass. Lord, have mercy. Christ, have mercy. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. Have mercy on your church. And grant us your grace of not only forgiveness, but grace. And that's what happens. Huh? And so Ezra sees this, that from the time that he says, our fathers. And from that time on, we've sinned as a nation to the point that we were exiled. But now God mercifully has called us back home to himself to build his house. We're in God's house here. What makes this God's house for you and me? It's Jesus Christ in that tabernacle, isn't it? Sure it is. It's why you come here this morning, to hear God's living word, but to receive the Eucharist, that which gives us life, that which not only pardons and forgives, because, I've been taught from the time I was a little guy that not grave sin. Grave sin's another story. You need to get to reconciliation, go to confession. But those minor sins, at the very beginning, what we ask for, God, have mercy on us. Huh? Lord, have mercy. Christ, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. And in us receiving Christ in the Eucharist, that he actually forgives us at that moment, so that you and I might not receive him unworthily, although none of us are worthy in the sight of God, but to receive him fruitfully, to receive him that he might transform and change us as he did his people in the time of Ezra. What Jesus says today to us, and to especially the apostles, they go out. I want you to go out, but you go out with nothing. What did they have? The only thing they had was what? Faith. The only thing they had was faith. Faith in God and faith in Jesus, his son, that what Jesus says to them, you go out and you will be able to heal the sick, expel demons, but take nothing with you. No money, not even a second tunic. That one that cracked me up. I talk about that all the time. Second tunic, after a couple of weeks, they must have been pretty ripe, especially in the arid temperatures of Israel. So what did happen? Well, you know what? What were they depending on? First and foremost, God's providential care for them through the providence of the people that they would be serving. We kind of do that. I don't think it's any secret to you that, we don't make big bucks, but we depend on the love and the wherewithal of people like you that make a difference for us. This priest team that I'm a part of. Every time I think about that particular passage, I think about my own priesthood, 31 years later, what God has given to me. I never deserved, but it was through his love shown through people like you that make all the difference in the world for me. And not only me, but each and every priest. And they call us holy men. Well, we try. We try. But we are that intermediary between Jesus, our Lord and God, and you. That's a tall order. It's not always easy. And I thank God for your prayers and your forgiveness. When we say, Lord, have mercy, Christ, have mercy, We need to be merciful and forgiving of one another. And so today, as we hear Jesus call those 12 and they go out, you know what? The 12. It didn't say the 11. So who went out with him? Judas. He went out with them too. He performed good works. He had to have done it. You know, you can't make an exception there. But what was the difference? Well, you know, just like Peter, and Peter sinned at the end of Jesus' life. We know that. Denied him. Of course, Judas betrayed him. But the only difference was Judas couldn't accept the fact that God could forgive. He couldn't be like Ezra and the people of that time during the Babylonian exile to trust in a God who loved them enough to bring them back home. You and I are home here this morning. And we thank God. We thank God for the gift of his Son, Jesus Christ, who has made it possible for you and me to be sons and daughters of the Most High. Brothers and sisters in the Lord.